comes victorious over the others. Mr. Norwell Hinds is the new president of the University of Guyana Student Society. Welcome to Facing the Nation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Next to him is an sorry gentleman, but I have to say the rose between the thorns, Miss Defta Ramroop. She's a faculty representative, and of course they both are accompanied by Mr. Patrick Benjamin Huntley, who is also, first of all, congratulations,
Thank you very much.
You ran a very heated, in the sense of positive, a heated campaign. Some people are even, and strange enough, people do, even students of themselves don't always follow these elections. It's unfortunate, but people somehow are calling you the dark horse also. I hadn't, as a student of the University of Guyana, I didn't get the chance to hear you while you were campaigning because of how classes fell and so on. Now that you've won, though, what are you going to do for the University of Guyana?
Okay, dark horse, though, that's a
I've
new
heard
one.
it.
I didn't hear that one. But certainly, in respect of my campaign, I was not very popular on campus, so I sort of was coming from behind. Mm-hmm. So I suppose that's what they meant. Also, I'd want to say that we don't really view this outcome of the elections as a case of victory.
Okay.
It's a case of really building a consensus among the student fraternity, because I think all the candidates, especially in this election, demonstrated skills and qualities above and beyond what we have seen in recent elections in and outside of UG. Okay. I think that that is a positive thing to start off with, and in fact, we intend that there must be some encouragement and continuation of the kind of solidarity that we showed on the campaign trail itself, and we intend to pursue that. So I campaigned only for the presidency. Mr. Huntley and Ms. Ramroop campaigned for their faculty reps. Before today, before the results were final, we hadn't met.
Wow.
So the idea here is that we're demonstrating to the country and to the nation, really, that it is possible to have, although you come from different interests, to have a consolidated and a connected and collective sense of what needs to be done and what the priorities are, and to abandon even your individual interests for that democratic consensus.
Okay.
And I think that that is what has been demonstrated in this election process. So in terms of what will be done first, the first thing is to build a strong team of people that are focused on one agenda, that we agree on one agenda, and we begin to install our officers.
All right, great. Even before I go to Defta and Patrick, just for clarity, especially for people who are not on University of Guyana campus, as the president of the UGSS, what is your role? What are you really supposed to do? More so where the students of the institution can benefit.
Yeah. Well, the act that brought the university into being, the Ordinance of 1963, and the statutes that were instituted by the council that act empowered. So the act gave power to a council, the University Council, and that council creates statutes that governs the university over time since 1963. It mandates really that the student society is responsible for, one, ensuring the best representation of the university and supporting both academic, cultural, and social life on the campus and off the campus, so the status of the university is elevated. So that is primarily the role. So the president of the UGSS is really the chair of that faculty of the committee, the executive council of representatives, but also in a sense the chief representative of the students. And understanding that the students are part of a fraternity, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, and so on, and that they're in a sense clients of the university. So the role also should mean the person who is representing the clients of the university. So this is proper consumer affairs. So that's some of the responsibilities.
All right, Defta, let's come to you now. What is the function of the faculty rep? And of course, obviously, you'll have to say which faculty.
Well, I am representing the Faculty of Natural Sciences, and my role as the faculty rep is to give a voice to our faculty, to make sure that the student council understands our problems and
Okay.
try to solve them and try to help them be less problematic, if not solve. So.
All right, I want you to address some of the, and viewers, just to make it clear, it is not about bashing or exposing, the weaknesses of the institution, but of course we're having a frank conversation. In terms of some of the weaknesses, what would you want to talk about at this time that you would want to first and foremost address as faculty rep for natural sciences?
Okay, as faculty rep, our faculty, not that we're not grateful for all the advance, because our buildings are relatively new. We've recently installed solar panels on the roofs of our
Great.
faculty, and so we're seeing
You're seeing the
progress,
improvement. Yes, understood.
However, there are some things obviously that we would need to install more progress. So the first thing I would like to deal with is that the fact that we have nowhere to meet and eat.
Okay.
And so that's basically
Rather than using the classrooms.
we're not allowed to eat in the classrooms.
Oh.
So we usually have to be on the catwalks eating, and we know that that's not really
always
comfortable, or it doesn't house social interactions between our inter-faculty and outer-faculty people. So that's really important. We need an eating area.
Okay, all right, great. Patrick, I'd like you to jump in now. The faculty that you're representing and some of the issues and so on that you'd like.
Oh, I represent the Faculty of Earth and Environmental Sciences.
Okay.
We're a relatively small faculty to say,
Mhm.
and as a result of that, we're very much overlooked all the time. So what I noticed was that on simple platforms such as socials and other activities that other faculties would get, like this faculty over here, like they would get these usual semesterly programs and projects that would be
Yes.
executed. We wouldn't get any things like that. So I said that, you know what, I'm going to be the voice of my entire faculty. I'm going to make sure that these things are going to happen. I'm going to be their voice of reason, because a lot of times the children in our faculty, they say, oh, we're too small, we're always going to be
Really?
overlooked.
Okay.
So while I was campaigning, that's the inspiration I gave them. Those are the promises that I made them.
That you made. That's the
Yeah,
first time you
that's it.
campaigned?
Yeah, it is.
What sort of response you got from the students on campus? Because I sat in a few classrooms where of course I didn't see Norwell, I didn't see any of you, where I saw some other persons who were running, and I can tell you the students in the classroom could get very vicious. What are you going to do for us? And they're intimidating. What sort of response you found that you got from the students while campaigning?
Well, while campaigning, I'm well known among the students of my faculty. So
Okay.
when they heard that I was making the step forward to
Yes.
be a leader for them in our faculty, to have our voices heard, right away they supported me. So I know for a fact that they trust me with the responsibility they've placed in my hands, and with the vision that I have for our faculty in the next upcoming year.
All right.
And that our vision aligns with our president's, as he said, that we can work together, even through diversity, for a greater good,
For the greater
which is
good.
bettering the student experience. So we look forward to doing things and making sure that certain things happen to increase the student experience of our campus.
Okay, Norwell, I would want to talk about your group's potential, if it hasn't already begun, relationship and communication with the Vice Chancellor. But before I talk about that, I just want you to clarify. Apart from them being faculty reps, you talk about the potential PRO. Just for clarity, just let the public know what's happening.
Yeah. So the council elects its primary officers.
Good.
And what we have started to do is to identify some of those officers based on their interests and based on their roles. And in a sense, in supporting as president, what the team that I think would be most effective to achieve what we've agreed upon, because I want us to, understand first of all that we want to honor the democratic process. So there was a democratic process of election, so there is a mandate that won, right? And that mandate is really a representation of the consensus. although we've generally had poor turnout.
Okay.
So what these young people that I've brought on the show especially, they are nominees to that executive council for the post of junior vice president in the case of Def Ramru, and in the case of Mr. Benjamin Huntley is PRO, Public Relations Officer.
Okay.
I think that we have to use the council also as an opportunity to train and to inspire
Perfect.
and to demonstrate good leadership and future leadership. And that is an important priority for me in terms of the operation of the council itself.
When
you
you
know-
talk about future leadership, I know obviously I'm inside of UG, but would you eventually see yourself as taking, at the end of the day, it is politics, it's taking it out of the University of Guyana campus nationally, maybe, eventually?
Me personally,
Yes.
I think it's too early to speak
Understood.
about those things. I really don't know what the future would hold in that regard. I think there's a task that's in front of us right now
You wanna
that we're committed to that task. What I would say is that the UGSS and the University of Guyana in general has a role within the broader conversation, and these were part of my campaign talking points.
Okay.
That the university is situated at a place where it is the center of thought leadership, and it therefore sits sort of above even the political context in the country, or it sits above the social issues, because
Bigger than that.
it's bigger than that. It's large. It's a brain, you know. And I think that because the university has that place, the issues that the UGSS will address and the young people on the council, like the young people here, those issues will necessarily be issues that they have to also find channels to communicate in the larger society. So I think it's unavoidable that some of what the UGSS and the officers will talk about and represent, and will use the UGSS as an instrument for, would be issues of national concern.
National concern. All right, understood. Of course, I just got the signal, so we have to wrap up soon. Let's talk about that relationship, your group's relationship, and of course, eventually I'll take more comments if either of you have. Your group's relationship, though, with the office of the VC.
Okay, well, we haven't started that relationship. I know Professor Ivor Griffith personally. I've met him several times. I've worked in civil society for many years,
Okay.
so we know each other. In fact, my mentor is a good friend of his also, both my mentors. In the context of UG relationship with the administration, UGSS relationships with the administration, I can't speak to that now, but what I expect is that relationship is a partnership, essentially, and that we are brought together around the same ideals, and those ideals are to improve the university as the thought center of the country, to ensure that there is an appreciation for social, cultural, and academic things within the campus or campuses of the university, but off campus, and generally to contribute to the national discussion and the welfare of students as part of that institution. So I think that the relationship is not, I don't expect anything but a partnership.
What a partnership. All right, understood. And I definitely like that. I like the thing is, you began your conversation by bringing a partnership tone to it, which is a very good thing. Defta, let's get some sentiments from you now in terms of how you're going to further contribute and so on, and of course support but not just the UGSS president, but the entire group of itself.
The group support. Well, first of all, when we do meet as a group and as a body, we want to establish that we all have one end goal.
Yes.
And obviously, I plan to work hand in hand with everybody to ensure that we get progress, and that's basically
All right.
it for me.
Great. Perfect. Patrick.
Yeah, I think Mr. Hinds hit the nail when he said that he really wants to promote more socialness, cultural integration, because that was a part of my campaigning too. Like, I want to see us have more activities together as one entire campus,
Okay.
not just everyone from each faculty grouping with their own.
With your own, yeah.
Like, for us to have more things that we intermingle and things like that. So that is all I'm going to be pushing for, and those are my sentiments.
Okay, great. Thank you so very much. Unfortunately, I have to indeed wrap up my discussion. It was a pleasure having
Thank you.
all of you. Viewers, if you're now tuning in again, you've missed a really good conversation for the first time on the program. The president of the new
President-elect.
president-elect, sorry,
Swearing
yes.
in sometime next week.
Swearing in. I forgot that it operates the same way as national politics does. Yeah, so he's not sworn in yet. President-elect Mr. Norwell Hinds, of course, Ms. Faculty representatives, Ms. Stefda Ramroop and Patrick Benjamin Huntley. What I'll do. Thank you very much for being
Thank you
here.
for having us.
And again, yes, this is a second handshake, and I am going to have to shake the hands off camera. What we'll do is take a very quick break. On the other side of the break, of course, it will be time for me to wrap up today's program. Stay tuned. This is Facing the Nation. Right, unfortunately, I have come, and I can tell you that today was really and truly very, very informative. Our programs really are usually informative, but today you got, and we basically, if you noticed, we stayed in the education sector because you basically got a 2-for-1 today. Earlier, those of you who have missed so much of the program, you have indeed missed so much, you've missed a lot. Earlier on, we spoke with the Guyana Teachers Union General Secretary, and she's also a former teacher, who is Miss Coretta McDonald. She was here along with a male teacher, and again, I thought it necessary to speak with a male teacher. Actually, it was Miss McDonald's idea, a really good idea indeed. Thought it necessary to speak with a male teacher because, again, the teaching profession is a female dominant one. And ladies, you should give yourselves a pat on the back. I mean, it's not until we're either observing or celebrating Teachers Week or Teachers Day like we're doing currently. A reminder, Teachers Day would have been yesterday, Thursday. We are still in the week, so I thought it fit to have that because, as you know, Facing the Nation is only on Fridays. And it is interesting. I think we forget sometimes. The profession is indeed a female dominant one. So, ladies, you should pat yourselves on the back and, of course, congratulate yourselves, because even those of you who don't actually teach in the classroom, you have to teach in your homes, because the fact is, even if you do not physically teach your child, they are copying off of you. Everything that you do, they're seeing it and they're patterning themselves that way. I can tell you, I think as a little girl, and even on to this day, I've always wanted to be like my own mother. So mothers specifically, that I'm not leaving you out, but I'm just focusing on the women for a bit. But mothers, remember that even if you're not a qualified teacher, so to speak, or you're not in the classroom teaching, you are teaching in your homes. Your children are watching. Your children are always watching. They're going to see how you behave, how you act. For the males, again, even though we said it is a female dominant profession, males, fathers, the boys are watching to see how you treat the mothers and how you treat the other women on the outside. And when I say other women on the outside, I mean not your spouse, but other women in terms of, you know, the regular woman on the street, or even in the job place. Your child might happen to just be there, but they are looking at how you treat everybody. So at the end of the day, really and truly, parents are also teachers, but not to take away anything from the actual teachers who go to the schools, go to the classrooms every day and teach. They deserve a round of applause, of course, and they deserve to not only be patted on the back, but they deserve what I spoke about with Miss McDonald and Collis, the teacher. They deserve respect. You must respect them. And I think in Guyana we have forgotten the importance of respect. Even in the workplace, little things that you do could come across as disrespect. But for now, today we're talking about the respect of teachers. So if you don't do anything else, you don't have to buy them a gift. You don't have to give them anything that is, anything that they can hold or anything material. Respect our teachers. Don't only appreciate them, but respect them. That is all the time I have with you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank that group from the University of Guyana, and I know they will do a wonderful job. This has been Facing the Nation, and I'm Malika Ramsey. Be good Guyanese citizens. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and of course, join me again next time. Goodbye.